Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Tasnim Lubis. I am from Universitas Sumatera Utara. In this session, I would like to present my article entitled Language Use and Language Code Reality in Pandemic COVID-19 Situation, Anthropolinguistic Approach. In this article, I collaborate with Dr. Eddy Setia, and he is also from Universitas Sumatera Utara. Well, I start by telling why we study this. First, we know that we are facing COVID-19 situation, and it's still running. And the first we heard about the COVID-19 on December 31, 2019, in the COVID-19 spread in China, in Wuhan, and we really concerned about what happened with the language use since COVID-19 is coming to Indonesia, about the terms related to COVID-19, and how about the level of terms acceptance of Indonesian people about uh, these terms, and especially in Aceh and North Sumatra. Based on the objective of the study, we determined two objectives of the study, or goals. First is to describe the response of the community related to COVID-19 terms, and the second, to describe the level of acceptance in society related to those terms. So this is what we focus about. We want to know how the community in Aceh and also in North Sumatra responds about the terms about COVID-19, and how is the language use called reality. There are some examples about COVID-19 that people are familiar with. First is lockdown. Well, in this picture we can see there's actually lockdown, but in one place they write lockdown means a negation of lockdown. This is very funny, I think. And then rapid test. This is what people are scary about, rapid test and swab test, because they're really afraid if the test result is state that they are positive of COVID-19. Well, I gathered several terms about COVID-19. It's before new norm and after new norm. First is a PDP, orang dalam pemantauan, and then ODP, pasien dalam pengawasan, and then suspect and positive. This is a really scary terms that people really scary of. They don't want to be in this situation. And then lockdown and social distancing, isolasi, karantina, work from home, imported case, local transmission, wabah, epidemi, pandemi, rapid test, antiseptik, cairan disinfektan, pembatasan sosial berskala besar. We can see that there are a lot of terms still in English language. So this is affect the understanding or the acceptance for people in Indonesia about what is going on, what is the definition about what is it, and still make them confused sometimes. And after new norm, this is the latest one. There's a kasus suspek, kasus probable, kontak erat, kasus konfirmasi, pelaku perjalanan, discarded, selesai isolasi, kematian, masa transisi, pembatasan sosial berskala lokal. So this is different with this one. New normal, protokol kesehatan, adaptasi kebiasaan baru, drive-thru rapid test, and zona. So these are several terms that we asked to the informant later. And how we collect the data? We use ethnography method, which is proposed by Spradley in 1979. He wrote down there are 12 stages about how to collect the data and how to analyze them. First is locating informant, and then interviewing them, and making an ethnography method, asking descriptive questions. So this is a question that we ask the people about some terminology, and then analyzing ethnographic interviews, making a domain analysis, asking structural questions, making a taxonomy analysis, asking contrast questions, making a componential analysis, discovering cultural terms and writing an ethnography. Well, because we use anthropolinguistic approach, because we want to know how people respond about this terminology, about the language used related to COVID-19. We use anthropolinguistic approach because this is an interdisciplinary between linguistic and anthropology. So we want to know how the language affect to the human culture. Anthropolinguistic approach is a study about language in the core of anthropology, and study about culture in the core of linguistic, and study about all aspects of human life in the core of both anthropological linguistic and linguistic anthropology. Well, what is important in anthropolinguistic approach is a performance. So we get the data from the performance of our informant. There are three components in performance. First is text, and then context, and absolutely context. What I try to present, there are two figures. First is from Ojan Richard, talking about the meanings. There are symbol and then reference. This is an object. Symbol is, it could be a language to notice a reference, and then the reference related to human mind. Where I also present a Durante's concept, because what happened in human mind is really related to their judgment about what they see, and about what they look, or about what they heard. I could quote Aristotle's statement about truth. Truth is a correspondence between human judgment in the mind and things in the world. Well, in Durantes, there are two things that's really important. It's a proposition and state of affairs. So proposition means a statement that what they think is true, and state of affairs is what happened at that time based on the context. And I think I try to explain what people think about the terms related to COVID-19, what is true in their mind, and that what falls in their mind. And this is a reconstructionist of Durante's concept about relationship between human mind and the world. Now, for those who accept, I try to choose one example is a mask. Okay. Okay, the symbol is a masker. So, to notice the object, this is an object, and I put on an image here, and that what is in their mind about when they see the object or mask. They think it's a kind of a protection, using this for protection, and that's all. But I'm trying to explain it deeper than this. There's a proposition, as I told you previously. Okay, wearing a mask for protection. This is a proposition. People get this information from government, from medical, from news, from online media. They know about this, and they think it wearing mask for protection for people who accepts, they think, based on their prior knowledge, it is a must to wear mask. Okay, it is a must to wear a mask. And then, what is the false of this proposition? They think that no mask, no protection. So the state of affairs is wearing mask for protection is a way to protect from the coronavirus. So this is what happens for those who accept the terms of COVID-19, and the example is a mask. For those uh, who reject that the mask is not a protection, this is a proposition. They say that wearing a mask is not a protection, and based on their mind, it is a true that it is a fault to wear a mask. They don't have to wear a mask, and what is false is a dumping. And then they said that wearing mask is not a protection. Related to this context, this situation, wearing mask is useless. So they don't have to wearing a mask to protect themselves, because there's no relationship by using a mask and protect themselves from a coronavirus. But we are also see that there's a level of confusion, as we know that in this diagram is still like this, but for in Durantis reconstructionist diagram, is, for example, we write the proposition is mask is used for protection. For those who confuse, they have two there are there are two statements that true based on their mind. First is it is a must to use mask, but also it is a fool to use mask. They know that they get this, they observe the information, they get the information from television, from online media, they read, they heard about this, and there are two uh, statements in their mind, and it is true. But how about in what is false from this proposition? They don't have nothing, it's empty, and they think that mask is used for protection related to the situation. This is a way to protect from the coronavirus, but also wearing mask is useless. They're really confused about it. Well, as I explained previously about one of analysis of ethnography method is a domain analysis. So I we choose the cause and effect semantic relationship to explain about how language is related to COVID-19 effect level of community acceptance, or language use related to COVID-19 cause the level of community acceptance. After asking them a descriptive question, structural question, and also contrast question, we can classify. There are three levels from the community in Aceh and also North Sumatra. First is accepted, as I explained it previously, and then rejection and confusion. So when we try to extract this, I can say that we can see that the acceptance is low and a medium. So this is the level, is a low, a medium, but no high. From the performance, from their performance, for those who accepted the terminology and they apply in their life anything about the COVID-19, I mean the policy of the government's um, the government's role about COVID-19. For those who accept, it's because they have a good literacy. They try to find out. They read about the articles. They really want to know what is COVID-19, and then they really try to find out about that. So for those who accept, one of the reasons is because they have a good literacy, and then the second is because of their duty. For example, the people who work in a government department or in medical department. And then well, and then the affected community is also for those who mobile. I mean, who has a work, who has get a job that they have to go from one place to another place. They're really mobile, so they have to follow. They have to obey the rule, the instruction about the how to protect themselves from COVID-19 virus. So this is the reason why they accept uh, the terms or the role of the government's policy about COVID-19 related to COVID-19. And the performance of the rejections is only one reason, is a trustless. They don't believe what the government said anymore. They said that it's not true because they also get other information, and they can see that then they can see and they have an experience that not all the person who wearing a mask able to protect themselves from this virus. So I think they reject the language, the terminology related to COVID-19 and the policies such as wearing a mask or do social distancing, kind of that. They reject that things because they don't believe about or they don't believe about the policy at all. And how about the confusion level? We can see that the confusion level is in the people who live in a remote area, such as in a small island, for example, because they just live there and work. They work for a living only in their area. They don't go a lot from the area to another area. So they just live in this area. They think that they won't get the COVID-19 as long as there's no foreigners come to their place or they don't go to another place. Yes, they know the COVID-19 is already exists, but they still confused. Is it very important to do social distancing? Is it very important to wearing a mask? Is it very important to to do quarantine, for example? They still confused. And how and beside the remote area, people who live in a remote area also uh, the person who immobile or settled. One of the example is the people in a jail. So they think that there's nothing happened to them. They don't have to wearing a mask sometimes, but they have sometimes they're wearing a mask too, and they're just confused. They don't know and really know about the COVID-19, the dangers, the effect about it, and they just live at that. Well, now we draw the conclusion that the use of language during COVID-19 had deviation in language code reality that affected human behavior and acted in society. So the use of language during COVID-19 not just comes straight to their mind and then they believe about the proposition, but it's had deviation, and it is related to the levels like I explained previously. They accept it or they reject it or they confused about that. So there were three kinds of responses, namely accepted, rejected, and confusion. Well, the level of acceptance was low for language use of the COVID-19 pandemic situation. Absolutely, it is because it's still in foreign language, but it is really need to socialize, more socialize, so people will understand about what is this all about and what is why it is dangerous. Sometimes they don't believe because this is the part. I mean, the hard, the difficult part that we have to explain. Well, because of this conclusion, we suggest that it should deliberate the role of local community through the leaders, absolutely. so they can believe, they can trust who they can trust, whom they can trust, and to cooperate with the government or local government at least to find the formula of proposition instead of fears regarding the area. Well, this is about my our articles, and thank you very much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.